I had a bunch that were sitting there, and then just two of them closed. But like for a month, I didn't do anything.
Okay.
Are
But
are we recording?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
where's Will?
Oh,
I got to grab my coffee. Now here's the deal.
Oh,
The
he's here.
the
I'm
mil-
gonna let him in. Okay. You
cool.
ready? And go. Hello, Will. So we want to know more. Who are you, Will? We know what you do, but who are you? For
perfect.
now, we are trying just to get some content in there, and then one day we'll want to post it out.
Yeah,
We're
I'm
just
I,
going
I'm
to.
game. I'm open book. Ask me anything. I have nothing to hide. So I love to just be spontaneous with it. Ask
Love it.
away. Ask tough questions. The only things I ask to stay away from, just for you guys and everybody. We're not talking politics.
Oh
No,
no.
no politics. That's pretty much the only thing that's off limits for me.
I think the only thing political that we will firmly engage in is be a decent human being, work on mental health, and yeah,
Yeah, but
Yeah.
other than that, I mean,
we're
I'm
good.
I'm an open book. You guys, I love what you guys are doing. I respect all three of you and what you guys have done. I've watched a lot of George's videos. I've met David. I've talked to him on, uh,
The Zoom,
in
yeah.
the partner collabs and
Love it.
seen him through the groups and stuff. So, and Anka, I've talked to you.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I was
that's
pretty
Yeah,
shy
we're excited to
in.
have you, Arkin. You have such history.
I was pretty shy on my encountering with everyone at the partners meeting, but I will do the best to bite on the ass's ass and be more approachable. So
David.
George is gonna rule the questions. David and I, as his sidekick, are just gonna jump in and out and make it entertaining.
perfect.
Hello, everybody. George Kenner here with ZAP 5. We've got Will, crazy laser dad, and we're going to hit him with 5 really hard questions, some he may or may not be prepared for. Now, Will, if there's any of the questions that you don't like, you can't skip
Perfect.
them.
That is absolutely not.
That's
No.
not gonna be good.
and I'll be the Grand Inquisitor, and I have 2 sidekicks, Anka and David, and they will and have in the past jumped in whenever they want to. So let's start with question number 1. What is your experience in what is called the maker or crafter world of lasers? Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Okay, yeah, perfect. I started about 4.5 years ago. Got a glow forge when I saw some ads, thinking I was going to cut chocolate with it. I was a
Ooh.
pastry chef in my previous life, and
Oh,
I made chocolate sculptures and sugar sculptures. And I thought one way I could add a laser to my production to increase my speed for chocolate desserts. Uh,
that's how you
got
started this morning, by the way, with the hot chocolate, right? And
Yep,
the
yeah,
marshmallows that you
definitely.
engraved with your logo.
I have a machine that I use dedicated just for food now. But in the beginning, I didn't know that. I ended up getting the Glowforge, cut gift of good measure, cut a bunch of files, then started to work with chocolate, and everyone was like, "That's not food safe. That's a
Uh,
no-no." So I still do it for some decoration. I do have a dedicated machine to just food now, but that's why I originally got started. Then I started. COVID hit my catering business, and everything just kind of went down the tank. Started selling on marketplace, and then decided, you know what? There's a need for laser blanks. And my dad told me before, he's like, if there's gold, don't search for the gold, sell the mining equipment. So
I
started
like
selling.
that.
I like your father. Maybe we should
Yeah.
talk to him too.
Yeah, definitely. He's
Y-
wise.
y-
He's the wisest person I speak to. He's my business coach in a lot of ways.
And
So
that was not just a saying. We mean what we say. We want to invite as many diverse people as possible. So hook us up.
yeah,
Anka and
definitely.
David. Anka and David, you know what? He just destroyed question number
We did.
14. Have you ever tried to laser cut food like cake or pizza?
Yeah,
You
I
just,
was going to say that. Like,
it's like, wait a minute. This guy's like a dead ringer here. Let's go to another question. Let's go to another question.
and for Glowforge, for all of their advertising and everything, they do put that saying, "Yeah, look at all this food you can cut," but they don't say like, if you're going to only do food, do not do wood, do not do plastic, glass, or
Well,
anything. Don't mix the two
I
directions.
have to
Don't mix the
defend
mediums.
Glowforge because they actually have done that after their second year when they realized what the bad
What are-
consequences are. They did market specific only for, and I know a couple of restaurants here in Dallas who have 4 glow forges for their restaurant, and it's only food.
Okay.
I introduced them to it, which I'm very happy to say.
So
Now,
then, do you do also gingerbread houses there, Will?
You know, I engraved on graham crackers for s'mores kits and things. I haven't done the gingerbread. I usually just cut them by hand. For me, it just seemed a lot easier. Like I bake full sheets, and my kids, I'll cut the templates in the laser, and then we'll use that to cut with an X-Acto knife.
I used my laser for this last Christmas for a gingerbread house, and we got first place, in our own little family circle. So I'm very proud of that.
There you go.
Okay, let's move to another question. Keep this pace
Number 2.
moving. We
Wait a
gotta keep
second,
this
chef.
pace
Just a
moving.
second. Just a second,
Gotta
chef.
get that timer going. Gotta know how long
My
he's got.
timer. My time. I don't even know how to stop this. Okay, I'm done.
Okay, first I'm going to start out with a statement. Will, I had to make some paddles, like little kids' paddles, like in the old days, and they were a prop for a theater play called Annie. I got a lot of attention for those. A couple people said paddles. What is the most bizarre thing you've made, and anything tied to a practical joke we'd really like to know about?
Okay.
All right. So one of the funniest things I made and that seemed to get the most attention was I like to be very literal and I like to have a little bit of fun. And a customer ordered a giant signed monogram, and they ordered it in Marketplace, and they said, "I'll leave the creativity up to you. All I wanted is gold and for it to say our last name." So I made a
Creative.
big monogram, gold, that said our last name.
Oh,
Yes.
and
Careful
and
of that creative liberty.
I made them a regular one too, but it was funny as the person who ordered it thought it was hilarious, right? So
oh,
he
cool.
took it to his wife, and she was upset. She did
Livid.
not
Oh
take
my.
it well at all. She broke it. She threw it on the floor. He sent me the picture of it broken, saying, look what she did. She was not happy. I was like, but did you tell her you have a regular one? It was just a joke. And I was like, there's something deeper here. But that was probably I think when I posted that in the group, it was like the
You
most
probably
engaged
touched
post from last.
on a different level on their relationship.
Yeah, it's something more on their end than my end. But
Oh my god!
later
I mean, he's cool. He was laughing.
he was like, I thought it was a lot of fun. But
Oh, those.
there's always someone who wants to get upset about something.
Perfect.
Ah,
That was
that's
just a
fun.
random question. I had no idea. That's really a good answer.
That is a great answer.
Will, you're a great guest.
David, what was the most awkward thing you have done?
Most awkward thing I've done. Like lasers or just in general?
Laser.
Okay, well, this would teeter back to my experience back in a makerspace when I was an instructor. Like, yeah, hey, welcome to the makerspace. Here, do you want to learn about lasers? A little girl walked in, and she said, "I want Godzilla and Hello Kitty, body of Godzilla, face of Hello Kitty." And her mom was there, like, "Honey, don't bother him with that." I'm like, "Girl, sit in this chair right next to me. Let's design that." And within like 20 minutes, she walked out with a piece of wood with this giant Godzilla thing with little pretty face to it, and like she just looked at it like it was gold. And the mom was looking at it like, "Who are you? Like, why did you make that?" So, make it. People are crazy, but they don't want to think that we can do crazy.
Well, I
So
had
I
a
think
pretty
that's
similar
perfect for Will.
experience like you did. I had a client who, just like Will said, use your creativity. Although she gave me clear path of what to do, I thought I was aiming exactly to what she was wishing for. She said she's a party organizer and she's doing the displays, and she said it's going to be her child's birthday and they want the theme to be dinosaurs. And the first thing I thought of was a T-Rex, like a ginormous, fearless animal. So I cut a 4 foot by 3 foot, a very scary animal. And that was a 2-year-old birthday. So I had to go back, and in 2 hours, I had to cut a new piece, make a baby dinosaur, make it look sweet and perfect in purple. And then she was happy. But I was going there ahead of time because I thought I'm just going to use the time. But she said she's going to fire me if I'm not bringing what she was actually expecting. So because
Yeah.
she's a great client, I needed a job when I started. So I went back home in 2 hours, went to Home Depot, bought them the material, cut it with my hand saw, painted as good as I could, bring it back, and they were happy. But
Wow, that's amazing. Well, it's a great thing you're one of the early people. Knowing me, if it was supposed to be there at noon, 11:45, I'm running in with, a half painted project. Like, don't touch it; it's still drying, right? So the fact that you had time to go back, that just shows that you actually
well, it's not my
don't
fault, to be
procrastinate.
honest.
I had a question for Will. In that thing where you're given creative liberty, does that just fill you with any kind of dread? Like, oh, are you sure? Or like, do you prefer to be given specific instructions? Like,
I
which
I would prefer specific instructions. I want to know exactly what the client wants. I'll send the proofs. Because my time is so valuable, right? It's so precious. I don't have a ton of time to. Back then I didn't have as busy as a business, so I had time to just kind of mess around. But most times I want clear and precise direction of where they want me to go so that I can just deliver what they want. It just makes it easier, and it speeds the transaction in, right? They give me what they want, I give them what they want, they give me my money.
Give us a laser inventory. What lasers do you currently have? Like I got a diode laser that I use in X Tool, and then I have my Mirror 7. What do you have?
All right,
And
so
and then if you were going to add something, what would it be?
all right, perfect. So I have 12 lasers. I have a laser pecker. I have 6 glow forges. I have a fiber laser. I have a Galvo CO2. I have a Mira 5, a Mira 9, and a Nova 16. So I've run the gamut from the tiniest little laser pecker to a 63 by 40-inch bed on the Nova 16. And I plan to add a UV printer,
In
or a
3
UV
years?
laser. So, but the glow forges, just because people are going to be like, why does he have 6 glow forges? One I donated to my church youth group that we have a little maker space. One is at my wife's school. 2 are at home that my wife and my children use as they're starting their own little businesses as well. And then 2 I have at work, one for testing my products and one for my food.
Perfect.
In
Next
3 years?
question.
that is so
I know that was, he gave us a great answer, but we should probably move on to a harder
Oh my
question.
God.
Challenge between 2 rivals. Is it university of YouTube or university of Facebook when you need to reach out to somebody and maybe get a fast question answered? Where do you go for your info?
Oh, 100%. I'm in the Facebook groups.
In the Facebook groups.
100%.
So
And
have
why?
you found like, in, I'll call it manufacturer related groups where there are other creators that you have formed alliances with some of the creators and they reach out to you, you reach out to them if you've got a little bit of a problem and a hiccup in something you're doing?
Yeah, I mean, I've been in the groups for 4 years. I've built just remarkable relationships with so many people within the maker group. So I've learned that I know who I can trust, whose business model kind of falls in line with what I am and what I do. So when I ask their questions, they're not going to sugarcoat it. They're going to give me straight answers. They're going to lead me in the right direction. That their advice is always looking to better me. So I tend to go to the people I trust the most. And I didn't really venture into YouTube or Instagram or TikTok or anywhere else. It's been a lot of relationships built in the Facebook groups. So I've just kind of stuck in my comfort zone and I need to get out of it, but that's where I go to right now.
Yeah,
I found I was that way when I first started initially self-teaching myself was YouTube, but then when I got to know makers, I hardly go to YouTube anymore.
And all the
perfect.
makers that I follow on YouTube are in the groups, right? So Emily or Mark, those are ones like that I trust, that I have business relationships with, that I just go to them for all my advice, or Daryl from, that laser dude and all that. So
What's the most interesting, the project that you worked on that you really liked the most? It was the most satisfying when you delivered the product. You were just elated. Everyone was happy. And tell me about that project.
I don't think I need the timer, right? I'm just.
Nah,
No, we're
we'll blow through these. I'll make sure to give them to you quick. So for me, one of the biggest, my most satisfying projects is when I can do something that helps others. So I've done big projects for weddings, I've done other projects like that, but the one that was the most satisfying for me was every year I do a fundraiser for my church with ornaments. So I make as many ornaments as needed, and I sell them, and 100% of the sales go to the church. And last year I was able to sell 1,000 ornaments at $10 a piece. So the ability to donate $10,000 to my church was a blessing, and you know
Fabulous.
the church loved it. So
Have you noticed, as a general rule, that a lot of the makers do give back? Those paddles that I mentioned earlier, they were something that the people really wanted for the play, but they couldn't get them anyplace. And of course, I didn't charge anything for them.
yeah, I think the community as a whole, just if you look at the information that they're willing to share, that's already shows the kind of people that they are. So they tend to give back a lot. Um, at least the great ones do,
And
right?
And
That's
I think I would like to say that the majority of people who are a little bit known are the ones who like to give back because they have received so much, and so they reciprocate that same, attitude. But there are some groups on Facebook. I always like to be the provocative one, but there are some Facebook groups where you have to walk on your tippy toes because you don't know who you're going to bother and who you're going to be stepping on, who and what. And but I think that you are only able and capable of giving back if you have reached a certain level of, comfort and be comfortable with what you do. And there's a lot of bad advice on Facebook. Not everything is good, I
oh
like
for
to
sure.
say.
So let's move on to another one.
Yeah.
Everyone here is a maker. We all take our safety protocols, but it seems as though in the industry, a lot of people come in, and I've even seen a couple of machines that have, started fires that they don't even have a fire extinguisher. Tell me about your safety protocols and share with the audience who it could be brand new, the importance of making sure that, you're in a safe working environment.
Yeah. So first off is I think common sense, right? Staying attentive. 90% of the fires that I see within groups is negligence or user error, right? It's I went to the grocery store, I came back and my laser was on fire. I didn't press down my masking properly. I walked away from my laser. Um, the first thing is just to be attentive, right? Not to be afraid of your laser, but to respect it. It's burning material. So paying attention to which materials are probably more likely to be a risk is a key thing. Which materials are safe for a laser, but a fire extinguisher, a fire blanket, I've never had to use either. I mean, I've had a couple flare ups, and I have like a little spray bottle with a little bit of water that I've opened the lid and just extinguish, or a little wet towel and I just toss it on it. But other than that, I mean, I think more of it is attentiveness, cleanliness of your laser, and just being, smart about watching it.
Yeah, I think
Um,
too many of us get too comfortable with like, oh yeah, I have all this experience with my laser. I can walk away or drive away, but you have to respect the machine. It doesn't necessarily care how experienced you
Yeah,
are.
yeah. Because I mean, you would think, certain materials, you're like, okay, well, if I'm engraving a cutting board, honestly, the risk of a fire is lower than if I was cutting acrylic with, really intricate cuts. But I saw one lady who called me who had a fire in her machine doing a cutting board, and it burned a hole through the cutting board because as it was moving back and forth, the belt snapped. But it
Oh
kept
no!
engraving, and it just kept shooting straight down. And she just burned a hole through a 3/4 inch cutting board.
I mean, that's impressive, but it's not the result you wanted.
You wanted. So even if it's a laser safe, it's less likely. There's still always that possibility, and always staying within reach of your laser and paying attention to what it's doing.
So, Will, I do have a question. So, you said you are in California, right?
Yes.
And when did you make the big step leap to say this is not going to be a home-based business anymore?
Well, one, when my wife said get out, that was probably the first step. Well, I mean, I started selling the blanks out of my living room, then it expanded to part of the garage, then it took up the 3-car garage, then I had stuff all over my lower level of my house, right? Living room, dining room, kitchen, boxes everywhere. And I said, my wife was still working. I was a stay-at-home dad of 5, and I would work on my business from 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. and then up at 6, get kids ready, boom. And I said, I just can't do this anymore. It's just not something that is maintainable long term. So I decided to look for a warehouse, took the leap, and just went on faith that if I just do the right things within my business for a long time, it will grow itself. And my wife has now left her teaching job after 19 years to be able to stay home with the children so that I can just scale this business. And
Can I ask a different question, like an additional to this change that you have made? What is the actual commitment that you made beside the fact that you had to pay, or you have to pay now, a rent? Did you have to go and orientate yourself around insurances and, to secure yourself, your family, your business? Did you have to change your entity of your business as well?
well, I mean, I started out as an LLC even when it was a small business, just because I believe in protecting my personal assets from anything that might happen in my business, but also protecting my business assets if there's anything to happen in my personal life. If I was to hit someone with my car, I didn't want them to come after my business. And if something happened in my business, I don't want them to come after my family's money. So the LLC part was already set. It was just getting the proper insurances and the proper licenses. I had most of that at home already, which made sense for me, which makes sense for anyone starting a small business, because I wanted to I want to be distinctly known as a business so that I could take the proper business write-offs, which made most sense financially. So that was the only change. The overhead of getting a warehouse and insurance, and especially when you speak to a landlord and you're like, yeah, I'm just going to have a bunch of lasers in here. That tends to perk up their thought a little bit. So getting the proper insurances and making sure you file everything proper with the city and all your venting. But other
Do
than
you
that,
have do you have a business advisor or someone who has actually sat across from you and said, this is what I think is best for you to do? And you made a list of these other costs. I think I'm going to be able to pretty much handle it. Or did you went like, I'll just do whatever?
no. So, well, one, I speak to my father a lot about business, and we have a couple family friends who are entrepreneurs as well, who have kind of coached me. I've paid them for their time, and I'm like, you've accumulated all this great information over 40 years as an entrepreneur, and I'm willing to pay for that because I want to pay down my ignorance, because I don't know what I don't know. You guys have been there, done that. I'm going to invest the money because my now it's going to raise my ceiling on what I'm able to earn a lot quicker. And I honestly believe that that's still the biggest investment and the best investment that I've ever made in my business is investing in myself.
Mhm.
They can take away all the lasers, they can take away all this other stuff, but they can never take away the skills and the knowledge that I've learned over the years.
I think
Take
we're
away
just
my
about.
shoes. I am Iron Man.
I think I think we're just about it. And funny you said Iron Man, because the last question has to do with Iron Man in a way.
I may have
When I got started with this, I saw a YouTube where somebody had made an engraved cutting board, a very expensive cutting board. Price sells for $2,000 to $3,000, and I thought, what does he have that I don't have? He's got the CNC machine. So I started looking at CNC machines, and there is a social media influencer, and his real name is Titan Gilroy. You may be familiar with him, but he'd had a little bit of a rough life in the start, and now he's one of the biggest CNC instructors and companies. He works aerospace, 5-axis cam, the whole bit. I would love to meet. Who would you like to meet as a social media influencer that's within the laser industry, and why?
Okay, within the laser industry, that changes it. I know, just as a YouTube influencer or influencer in general, there's two that I would like to meet first. I would love to sit down with Joe Rogan, and I would love to sit down with Mr. Beast.
Oh,
Okay, that's
In the laser community, the two people that when I was first starting, who I would love to have met, I've met, right? I've met Emily, that mom with the laser, and I've met Mark from Big Blue Laser Designs. So those were the two that deeply influenced me in the beginning. And I always said, those are the ones who I want to model how I am within the community. And I've had the pleasure to meet and work with both of them. So it's definitely been a blessing. And there's probably others out there, but those two really stood out. And I've had the great opportunity to already meet them.
Have you got to meet and shake hands with Danny Martinez, the CEO of Eon?
Yeah, at the Eon holiday party.
Yeah, to me, he's a tremendous influence, but he's not, he's not a YouTuber. I mean, building what he's building, he's not spending a whole bunch of time in social media, but, fabulous person to meet.
Now, to hook up on that question, do you think it's really difficult now for anyone who starts their business to become both of these two worlds, the influencer, the maker, building of ideas, building of groups, building of community? Do you think it's harder now than it was in 2020 when everybody was home and didn't know what to do with their life?
No, I don't think it's any easier or any harder. It's work. There's going to be people who are willing to put in the work, and the people who are willing to put in the work will get it done. Right?
Now that actually ties into a question I have. If you had to give a level of importance to, getting business entities, getting a product, and the various areas that you've had to deal with, is there more importance or level of do this first then this, that if you could go back, you would do it better? Or you said before, what do I know and what do I not know, and learning those things, how would you do things differently or better knowing what you know now?
All right, there's a few things. Well, one, I would record everything I did from the very beginning because I didn't
Content.
think of that content. Content marketing is the future. I mean, it really is. I think. Another thing that I would do is I would focus more on marketing. I didn't focus a ton on marketing. Then you realize that marketing with an average product, you build a pretty good business. A great product with no marketing, there's a ceiling and you'll never cross that. So understanding the importance of marketing. But for me, I think I wouldn't change a ton because what I built most of my business on was relationship building. And I think that served me better than any of the marketing I could have done, at least as far as growing to the point that I am now. You do hit a ceiling and you need the marketing, you need all that other stuff to take it to the next level. But for the way that I came into the business with building rapport within the community before I became a business that supplied this community, definitely helped my growth a lot faster than I see others who just come in and are sellers and have no relationships.
So you'd say you put greater importance on the relationship building rather than what you're making?
Oh, for sure. I think so. I think really it comes down to with any of our businesses, right? It's we're we're two businesses in every business. It's a marketing and a customer service business, right? How do people find us and how do we keep them? So,
That's
and
what was one of my major key changes in my business, was to know how do I funnel best a customer? How do I accompany this customer from the first day he or she has joined me, and how do I carry them along the way? And I believe in investing in the customer that I has already had been convinced, invest in them, because I have already been paying into that investment. So that investment I can only multiply by convincing them to stay with me, because they will spread the word and I will get instant fall into that scheme that I built for my funnel. I'm falling other new customers in. Just because I'm taking care of my core customers, I always get additional jobs that I have not even placed my attention towards to. And
I
that's
read
how
in
every customer comes in.
I read in a book something that really kind of changed my perspective on how I treated my customers, and the call to action was, if from this moment on you could not get any new customers on your own, the only way you can get new customers is from word of mouth from your existing customers. How different would you be treating those customers?
Yep.
How what
Treating
level
them
of
like gold.
service what level of service would you be giving to them each day because you knew your business relied on them? So I've kind of tried to take that model and really focused on how am I taking care of my current customers, because that's going to help grow my business exponentially down the line.
Oh, definitely. I
Awesome.
believe in. And that's some keywords for George. George loves to have this using conversation that I carry with him all the time is call to action. Make sure you have the call to action. So we want a call to action from you from the next level convention that's going to be happening in Dallas. Where is your next one?
So right now we are 100% focused on ensuring that the one that happens at the end of March in Dallas is phenomenal. We will have others. We haven't even begun to look because right now all of our attention is doing the one that we have on the books now for the 200 people who are coming to give them an experience that they're going to walk away from saying that was worth the investment. I got more than I paid for. Where's the next one?
So talk a little bit about next level and what that is.
So about a year ago, I met Mark from Big Blue Laser Designs, and we met at another like laser meetup type thing. And we said, you know, we love the feeling of meeting people. People were excited to be around other makers, and there was nothing like that out there for our community. And we said, we should do something like this, but let's take it to the next level, right? And we named it the Next Level Laser Conference because we wanted to take people who are in this industry, regardless of what level you're at. If you're just someone who's just starting out or someone who's a little more experienced, that hopefully this conference will help take you to that next level that you want to get to. So having design program teachers there, teaching people how to sell files on Etsy, teaching people how to edit photos, teaching people how to use Procreate, photography, advertising, marketing, all of those things we thought would be super beneficial to the community. And now we're adding more where we're having inspirational speakers come out and talk, get people more excited about just the energy and the business mindset that it takes to be an entrepreneur because it's very lonely at times. So being able to network with everybody, feel the energy, know that there's people in the room who are rooting for them, we thought would be a great opportunity. And it's this is going to be our second one. Our first one was here in Sacramento, and we've doubled the capacity for this one. And the next one will probably be a lot bigger because we sold out in 3 days.
What's the cost of this one?
It's a $399. It's a 3-day event, all day, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You get 7 or 8 different classes, and you're also getting 5 general sessions where we have different speakers and topics that will address to everybody, and that includes lunch.
Did
So-
you went ahead and ask for sponsorships from other companies, or are you just self-sponsored?
Yeah, no. So the first one, we didn't have any vendors or sponsors. This next one, we have some of the big names within the community, right? Eon Laser is a sponsor. Lens Digital is a sponsor. Replica Surfaces is a sponsor. Houston Acrylic is a sponsor.
Nice.
Smoky Hill Designs is a sponsor. So the
If
first
you
one,
if you had to talk to a sponsor, maybe what would you then offer them? What is it that you guys offer them, other than to name them, of course, and print them on a shirt?
yeah. So one, they get their booth right for the weekend to connect. We set specific times within our conference to have times where no one's taking classes. So we have like vendor hours for people to be able to shop, meet, ask questions. We also give each of the vendors time in front of the general session, like a 10 to 15-minute spot for them to go up there, talk about their company, promote themselves a little, and then they get all their documentation and everything else in the swag bags and everything.
What is the price?
It varies. We for this first one, it was a little different pricing. We weren't sure what the pricing strategy should be, so we were severely underpriced. Everyone that we talked to was like, "Oh,
really?
you're too low." And
Nice.
our biggest thing first was we wanted proof of concept, right? We didn't want to have this huge ask and not have any return for them because our goal is to benefit them as well. So I think with this one, as we see what some of the returns might be for them, then we can adjust accordingly. And also all the ones that we have this time, we all have relationships with. So we were just wanting the right ones for us, right? It wasn't just we didn't take applications. We approached the ones that we had relationships with. Eon, Lens Digital,
Got it.
Smoky Hills,
So,
things like that.
so this one sold out in how many days?
3 days.
So let's say that you came on to my YouTube channel with 7,000 people. How did they get to the next one? Is there like a waiting list, notification system?
Yeah, right now it's really marketed just through Facebook. So we have a Facebook group for the Next Level Laser Conference that people can join to get information on the next one. We're working on developing the website so that people can keep updates. We have an email list going for people to see what's happening, what the next one might be, because I think we're slowly working our way toward the east. We've had a lot of requests for people to come to the East Coast. We're trying to move around the country to accommodate as many people as possible. We were torn on that because some people said, just have it in a hub like Dallas. The people who can make it will make it. And the people who can't, sorry. But our goal is to try to make it cost effective for everybody. So moving one over to the East Coast as well will help a lot of people over there who can't pay to fly to California or pay to fly to Texas.
True, and it's not only just the cost of. I mean, without disrespect to the amount that they have to pay to attend the conference, because you guys have speakers you want to reward as well. But for someone who has a small business, doesn't have a large, amount of money to invest in such, building weekends, the flight, the course, the eat, the stay,
The hotel,
everything. It's a bunch.
It adds up.
it adds
Now,
up.
Now, I had a question for you, Will. One of the experiences that, you talk about community, you talk about, you value the opinions and experience of others. For myself, when I first got into this laser world, back in like 2012, some decade more ago, there was a guy that I needed something engraved on metal for, and he had this giant shop out of his garage. Like 3-car garage thing. Like he had a giant workshop area, and his demeanor was not friendly. Like he had like easily tens of hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of equipment, but the mannerism was just not there. And when I went to him and be like, "Hey, look what I made! Look at me as this brand new little bird falling out of the nest for the first time, trying to flap my wings," showing him something I made, he just no expression, didn't care. Now, for you, it seems like you really value teaching people the skills rather than like, hey, look at me, look at my amazing business, look at my success. You value teaching people, giving them those skills. Why? Where is that for you?
For me, I find joy in seeing other people succeed. And one of the things that my coach said to me once before, he said, you could be this shrewd business person and you could always talk about yourself and you can try to grow your business that way, and it could happen, right? But if you really want to reach more people, teach more people.
And you don't find any kind of like competition, conflict or something with teaching more people?
No, at least for me, my business is a little different than, say, if it was a file seller who was teaching other people how to design files. I could see where that would get a little tricky. But we're all unique in what we do, right? I can teach someone everything that I know, and they can do what I do, but they'll never be me. So
and that I love is that everyone is unique. Everyone is going to think of a different idea or a different take on something. So we're all creating a world together that is not just, oh, here's a bunch of pawns in a line that were all the same.
yeah, I'm 100% focused on taking care of my customers and the things that work for my business. The competition doesn't bother me at all. If anything, if I look at life in general, we all want competition, except for when it's competing against us, right? Because competition makes everyone better. Competition brings down the prices for a lot of people, and we love it until someone's competing with us, and then all of a sudden we're like, wait, competition sucks. You're like, well, no, you can't have it both ways, right? Like it's what it. And if someone is to copy me or copy what I'm doing, I must be doing something right.
There
So,
is something to that.
right? Nobody copies someone who's failing.
No.
I
But
think
the good thing about being in a competitive field, and it will always be, no matter what type of industry you ever move yourself. I was a fitness instructor and I was a coach for many years, and I was always fighting against, not physically, but I was always trying to fight for for the customer that someone else was. I was trying to bring my training plans, my training views, my way of training with other athletes, because I thought I will do the better job, and it will always be there. It's just a matter of how healthy you are treating it as yourself, and that's something that I remember you. I placed an order from you on some blanks, and that really, and I like to talk about it as much as I can to other people so they recognize how valuable it is to just give something back, because you never know how that's going to be approached or taken. So you added some extra blanks in there, and you said, I always miss on the word. George was helping me on it the other day. When you give something and you ask someone else to just give it back, what's the word
Oh,
for it?
just
pay it forward.
pay for
Pay
it.
forward.
forward. You just wrote pay forward. And I was, Jesus, I feel guilty. I got to do something. What do I do? What can I do? I have to do something now. So I felt in not only in need, but I felt in depth to you, because you did something nice. I got to do something nice. I got to figure out something. I don't know what. So I think, and I said this before earlier today with our other interview that we had, is when in the communities that we move and the businesses that we run, and no matter what industry we are, if there are larger names who have made it up there, if they pave the way, they secure at least 1 or 2% of others who follow, that they will follow the same path as they did. If you show grace, if you show respect, if you show helping hands, you will influence your surroundings, and that's what I prefer to do, and to learn from people like yourself who are willing to give. It doesn't have to be a really written down step by step, this is what you need to do in order to be successful, but by the way you carry yourself, you influence your surroundings, and I really appreciate that of you. I mean, you have always been in the laser communities everywhere as a positive vibe. What is it that you do? You say you have kids. What do you guys do when you are like not doing laser stuff?
Yeah, it's between business, church, and family. That's my time.
That's a full life.
Yes, five
That is
children.
full time.
5 children, 10 and under.
Wow.
That keeps me busy, and I'm a heavily participating, and sharing my time with my church. So, cooking for crab feeds, cooking for all the fundraisers because I was a chef before, doing any fundraisers with the church, running the youth ministry. Those are all things that really take up my time, but also bring me the most fulfillment.
Yeah.
Cool.
Now,
I
now
think-
one question I think I would want a really quick one.
Yeah.
You have all the children. You had to name those children. You had to give them
Yes.
names and identities. Now I know Anka has a name for her laser. She calls hers Hellboy. Mine is Nigel because I really don't have a reason for that. George, I don't know if you have a name for your laser.
Black
We do.
Adam.
Black Adam.
I got it right. I saw the post.
Yeah.
with the Rock, right?
Yeah,
But yeah,
exactly.
but you have Will, you said 12 lasers. Did you come up with names for each and every one of them?
Oh, I don't have names for.
You have to have
I had
one
a
for
name.
the
I had
Nova
a name for
16.
my first laser. For my first Glowforge, I had a name, and that was it. And I just given up naming them now. I just call them by their
Them
breath.
that-
But
By
my very first one, the first Glowforge I had, was Mrs. Glowjob.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Okay, and if you see in a lot of my posts, I refer to all of us in at least the Glowforge community as Glowjobbers.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Guys,
It makes them think. They have to read it a couple times.
this has been a great interview. What
Yeah.
an opportunity. Will,
Yeah.
I wish you the very best of luck with Next Level. If I can help you and get the word out to some of the people who follow me, I'd love to do that. I'd love to attend one of the events. Honestly, I didn't even know that it existed before right now.
Yeah,
Well-
we've done a horrible job at promoting it outside of our bubble. And I think that's something that myself, Mark, and a lot of us
Hopefully
in
this can help spread that.
in the laser community is we think like, wow, 40,000 people in my Facebook group, right? That's a small fraction of the amount of people who could utilize what we do or have lasers. And our goal for 2023 is to definitely get out there a little bit more, build that reach even more, because it's just there's so much out there, and we're just missing
Mhm.
that opportunity to help more people, to influence more people, to grow our businesses. Uh, that's always a struggle. I mean, that's why I'm starting my own YouTube page. Not that I really want to. So, but we do what we got to do.
Thank you
I think
so much. This was a great interview.
Oh, I loved it. It
Time
was
was
great.
thank you for
flying.
joining us.
Yes, thank you for David and George, my sidekicks on the ZAP 5. We hope to see you again. And if it is possible, we will maybe hop on the next level conference just to take, an interview or two with others who are there, if you allow us. We cannot be participating as a sponsor. We just started. You are our second guest, but we have to grow. And we hope to see you soon again. We wish you the best of luck, and thank you so much for everything you do for the community.
Well, thank you guys. This is great. I had a blast. I
Perfect.
definitely tell other people. And if you guys have anything else, I'll definitely promote it to other people. And I look forward to seeing the type of content you guys come out with. So
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Will. Crazy Laser Dad.
Just because there's the best before the best.
So
best
the
happens
pre-show stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Where is he? Why is he
Cool.
not coming?
I don't know. We haven't really had to go back
George,
and
that's
get more stuff.
Oh my God, look at that. I love that piano in the back.
Okay, maybe I should adopt a similar thing.
So-
Yeah, should we all have a brick background?
The brick.
or the same house?
good morning or
Greetings, Will.
afternoon, depending on where you are. I'm in Sacramento.
Oh, so you're like an hour behind me.
A Cali boy.
Yep, born and
Yep.
raised
Yep.
in California. So
Yep, I'm from San Diego.
Oh,
so
beautiful.
what happened? Why is most of your family then in Texas?
Oh no, what is happening?
I like
Just
that one.
disregard David. David is
David, you need to be doing that. You need to do that when we go through the interview. Little visual candy for the troops.